I'm going to go through how to bid a commercial property. Now, I'm going to show you the way that I do it. The first thing you want to do is get a spec sheet. Ask for a spec sheet. Say, hey, what are the specs? What timelines are you expecting on when to do the fall cleanup? By what time should the spring cleanup be done? So usually an HOA, they'll want to know the scope of work that you do, and in that scope of work they want timelines. So most likely they'll have flower beds or gardens, and they'll want to know, hey, by like March 31st, we want to make sure that all the fall cleanup is done and pruned, and whatever else they put in that spec. And also aeration should be done at this time. They also kind of go over what dates things should be done by, like if you've got a fertilizer program, they want to know that your pre-emergent is applied during the month of April, let's just say. And they'll do that with all the things. So if they're worried about grubs, they want to make sure that in your program the grub application is applied by this date. And they'll pretty much do that with every kind of service that they're really wanting to get taken care of. So those are a couple things to think of: the garden cleanup, the shrub pruning, how many times a year. A lot of times they'll tell you how many times a year they expect to have their shrubs pruned. Same with leaf cleanup. And the list goes on depending on what scope of work the commercial property is wanting. So just make sure you ask for the spec sheet right away so that you can at least go off of that and you can plan ahead to make sure, because the thing with these HOAs is a lot of times they have a contract, and if those dates aren't done, if whatever work they asked for wasn't done by the deadline, they could refuse payment, and then you're gonna have a problem with them, and then it just gets uglier from then on. So it's better to just make sure you're prepared for all those things, so you can ask for the spec sheet. Because if they demand that you do, let's say that you do sprinkler work, if you don't do sprinkler work, you want to let them know right away. So anyway, another thing to consider with commercial properties is you're not going to be the only one bidding this property, and most times there's going to be at least 5 or more bids coming in, and they're looking for a few things. They want to make sure they have a company that can handle the scope of work that they're wanting, but they also want a company that may actually do more than they require, more kind of services that aren't listed on there, so that they know that if anything comes up, something that wasn't on their scope of work list, they can ask you and you might be able to take care of it. The process would be smoother for them. So they're looking for somebody that does a lot of services. They're also looking for a reputable company, someone licensed and insured, because they're dealing with a lot of tenants. A lot of problems could arise, and if they know that, they want to make sure that somebody that they hire is insured to be on the property, kind of thing, you know. They're also looking to see the reputation of the company. You know, most of the time, a lot of these HOAs have people in charge that manage multiple properties, and so a lot of times they go, well, that company, you know, they're good with residential homes, but they're not good with, you know, industrial properties or big HOAs. So it's good to just, that's kind of plays a part. I'm not saying it's the only thing. Obviously, a lot of people don't know all the different type of services or customers type of work that you do, but a lot of times they know who the big commercial players are, and they'll usually, when they're asking for a bid, They're looking to see if there's anyone new or anybody who's quoted in the past that's willing to come down a little bit this time around, so they can kind of get a fresh start. But most of them, to be honest with you, would rather stay with who they're at. They just want to do their, let's say, HOA board members a favor by asking for a quote all around, bringing it to the attention of the HOA, saying, look, we asked everybody around and this is the best price. A lot of times they're just trying to save cost, you know what I mean? So anyway, there's a lot to consider. Again, I'm just going to show you this quick commercial property bid that I do, and then you'll see you can add to it, take stuff away, but I'm just going to do the best I can to show you how this process goes.
I just got off the phone. I'm going to measure the property, or I'm going to try to measure this while they're on the phone, but as you'll be able to see here in a second, let me show you. This is the overview of the property. It's really, you know, it's 65,000 square feet. You can see here the total square footage. So I already pre-measured this, but if I were on the phone with them, I'd say, well, let me measure this first, and then I'll call you back, because there are so many, you know, lawn areas. As you can see, this is kind of intricate. There's grass in between the buildings on the sidewalk there. So I mean, I did my best to kind of measure all the grass areas. And as you can see here, I do measure some of the areas that, like right here, there's no grass. But the thing is, I've got to do so much edging everywhere that I just kind of add that in there as if, because I'm measuring it, because I am going to have to edge a lot of this stuff here. And as you can see here, like I kind of missed some here. So those that I'll fill in other places will just kind of make up for that kind of thing. So I do my best measuring. And then I got the total of 6,500 square feet. I'm sorry, 65,000 square feet, almost 66,000 square feet. So now I'm going to see I'm going to save the square footage here, which I've already done. Now I'm going to go into the estimate so it will populate the total for me. So based on the square footage of that property, the weekly mowing should be $600. Okay, now here it says 65,000 square feet. Yeah, so $600 for weekly mowing. On a property this big, I'll put 0 under every 2 weeks, because with a property that big, I won't go every 2 weeks. It's already going to be a difficult property to mow every week. And if you add not cutting it for 2 weeks, it's going to be really thick, and that would just take us a really long time. So I'm not even going to give that to them as an option. For a property like that, I'll also add in the bagging price. So I've got my bagging prices all in here too. So all I have to do is just add bagging, and it will populate the price for just bagging that size square footage. So if you add those two together, so they have the option, they can let us mulch it for $600, or if they want us to bag the whole place, well, they're going to have to add $96 to that property. And then you go line by line, you know, entering everything. So here I've got sprinkler tech. This is what I see. The customer is going to be able to see these notes here that I'm going to pull up here. This is what the note will say to the customer. Sprinkler work maintenance is $79 an hour plus parts. If weekly mowing is accepted, we would provide sprinkler repair services at $39 per man hour. Parts not included, so you would pay for parts also. Also includes starting system in the spring and activating clocks, shutting down system in the fall, turning off clocks, and stop and waste. Includes winterizing the sprinkler system line. So basically, for $39 per man hour, and that's really low for sprinkler work. I mean, I'm giving them a deal because this would be a great account, even at the $39. But I want them to know that my normal sprinkler rate is $79. So this is going to show up on the estimate. They're only going to see that it's $39 when they read the description of my estimate. And then I'll go down weeding. So same thing, it's $50 per man hour. That's also at that's about the regular price. But garden work is regularly $50 an hour, but we would charge you $37.50 per man hour if we are hired to do weekly lawn mowing and to work in the gardens with a regular schedule and whenever we think it needs work. Please note, every garden work visit is also have a $30 disposal fee. We can quote in person every week or month if you prefer, but this will not put your property on our garden priority route, and you may be subject to us having our schedule full or rescheduling if our garden division is behind. This includes chemical treatments, if necessary, at the same $37.50 man-hour rate to keep it maintained after any garden work has been performed. So what I'm doing is just spelling out exactly what I'm willing to do, and they can accept this or not, or they can come back to me and we can kind of maybe negotiate on some of these things. I probably won't negotiate on the price. I can't go any lower than that. And again, this is a very low price of $37.50, but I'm doing that because I know that this is a big property and we can be there for a lot of hours, and that would give my workers a lot of pretty much guaranteed work. I bet we would be on this property at least 5 hours a week. That would give my guys fill in the schedule for the week. That'd be great. And then I'd go on to the premium 7-step lawn care program, is what I call my fertilizing program. And these are the prices for the April application. It's $356. May, June, and I go over what I'm doing. If you look at each one of these, it will explain in the estimate what we're doing. Grubs and insect application, and I believe the June might be the same. Insect control and weed control. July, health promoting fertilizer and crabgrass control. You should consider our lawn treatment program because it's great, and we schedule your lawn to be treated every 4 to 5 weeks. If you start the program in April, we'll do 7 treatments, and then I go over what we're going to be doing. So that's the 7-step lawn care program, and they can choose to have all 7 with the guarantee, or they can pick and choose. They don't want, they want us to skip every month. That would be fine. And then aeration, and then I go over the price for aeration if that's what they want. I'm not sure why I've got 2,000 here. That doesn't seem right. I might have changed that just to give them a discount, because I would aerate that property for $345. That'd be fine. There'd be a guy working there for a couple hours, and that's great money for that. So, and then shrub pruning, same thing as the sprinkler work and the garden work. I would probably give them a discount. My normal rate for shrub pruning is $75. Actually, I think it's $79. I don't know why it's $75, but if you look in here, I can't really show you. Yeah, I can't really show you. My screen doesn't go that. Maybe I can make it. No. So, oh, there it is. So shrubs will be pruned. So same thing, $75, but I'd give them a discount of $50 because there's going to be plenty of work there, and that would just be great to get that mowing account. I would love to mow this property at $600 a week, and if they wanted us to bag it, if they're on almost another $100, $700 for this property, I would love that. And then I go on to, in the fall, they want to know what the cost for leaf cleanup is, and my leaf cleanup hourly rate is $35 per man hour. That doesn't change. That's what it is always, because we don't want to make this price me personally, I don't like making the leaf cleanup price too high because it's an easy service that keeps us busy late in the fall. And so I just like to have it low so that it keeps our guys working all the way through December and even into January. So I want to keep this price at a place where people like to call us, and that keeps us busy, and I'm really happy with that price. We make good money on that. Leaf garden work. So this is like cutting perennials, regular garden work, spring cleanup, fall cleanup, and then we'll provide the HOA with recommendations as needed. And again, that price would be reduced because it's such a big property and it would require us to be there every week pretty much. At least that's what I mean when I say regularly. See right here, it says hired us to do weekly mowing and regularly garden work. We will provide garden cleanup at $37.50. That means we're going regularly whenever we think we need it done, and we'll give them that price. If they just say no, we only want it twice a year, well then that's not regular garden work. We're going to be at the regular rate of $50, and the same with shrub pruning and the same with sprinkler work and all that kind of stuff. So they need us to just let us maintain it as we see fit, and they'll get that discount, and we'll make great money, and they'll have a great looking property. So now that I have these prices, I'm going to go do a walkthrough on this property just to make sure that there isn't anything that I need to address on a different phone call or on a different estimate, and then we'll follow up with the email. So I'll send them this after I do the walkthrough and I feel good about everything, so I could actually print this out if I want to and take it with me so that I can show them, or I can do a walkthrough and remember my prices and make sure that it seems okay. And then I'll email it to them once I feel like it's okay. But again, I'll tell anybody that wants this kind of work that we do it. So a lot of times the customer will say, do you guys do commercial? And I say, yeah, we do, but we do have a billing policy, and you have to have a card on file and charge after every service. If you can do that, we'll gladly give you an estimate and do the work. So I did tell this customer that that's the case, and they said to include it in the estimate. So I'm not quite sure where I put it, but they're going to get that in the estimate. It's actually, let me show you. So I'm going to preview this. I think I have cookies set up at my house. So I don't think I can, it won't pop up. It won't pop up right now because I'm using my home computer and it's got some, virusware kind of thing, so that I can't do it here for some reason. But anyway, you get the idea. So now I'm going to take this and walk the property.
Now here's one of the benefits of doing a walkthrough. So this drive area that goes all around the property looks pretty much like this, where it's got leaves, dried up leaves, and if it wasn't leaves, it would be like debris, plastic, you know what I mean? So I need to bring this up and make sure that if they don't want us to maintain the drive, that we're not going to be responsible for it. Because if this was my property and I came this year, if another company came and looked at it, I'd feel embarrassed. So being able to do a walkthrough, I'm able to see these things and bring it up. And so I'm going to put that in the notes, that if they want the drive area done, it's going to be quoted at a certain price. And the way I'm probably going to word it is it'll be done hourly, kind of like a leaf cleanup, but on the pavement areas around the property. So I just got done walking the property here, and it's massive. As you can see, it took a while. I just walked through the back all the way to the other end and back, and it took almost 10 minutes of straight walking, no stopping. Now I did go through zigzag here and there, but sometimes you measure a property at the office and then when you get to see the property you go, well, with the big mower I can knock this out in like 20-30 minutes. That is not the case in this one. This one, I feel, as far as the length of the grass, the square footage of the grass, it's priced perfectly. I know it's still pretty high, but like I said, it's good money, but we are gonna be here for quite a while every week just on the maintenance part. So anyway, I know that every region's a little different with what services should be put on there, and the client makes a big difference too. But why don't you subscribe? If this helps you, comment below, let me know.